Yeah, man, it's a pretty good song. As we know, the definition of Jews, they was forced to live in the ghettos, y'all. And that's what this video gonna be tonight, which is one reason why that song I did play that song, y'all, because if we understand really what we reading, we was forced in the ghetto by God. No wonder you ain't want to say it. Oh, nitty. I know that's what it looked like to me. So, I know I chop up words, so I ain't want to miss it. But it's a good song, y'all. It's a good song, man. And we need to understand as a group of people, if we were sent to slavery by God, then God is gonna redeem us from the place that He sent us. And a lot of this is through the bread we eat that we eat. And we don't really know the truth. But God had chosen a generation before Moses. God had chosen a certain generation before Abraham. God had all these things before these people even came up on the scene. God had chose a specific generation to show His majesty and His works too. He chose these group of people. So when we get these stories ahead of time, we get confused and we panic and not truly understand how we will be redeemed. Now I'm gonna read the title up there, y'all, because through the music I kind of forgot. But the title says, "We are in bondage to reveal God's power. We are conquerors. Soldiers will never leave the battlefield." So, y'all, what I mean by conquerors? Now, if we pay attention, I'm gonna take y'all to the book of Exodus, y'all. We're gonna go to the book of Exodus. Let's go to the book of Exodus. Let's go to chapter 7, because y'all know 7 is a day when the Father was gonna finish His works. This 7 is very significant. As we know, it's 14 generations from Abraham to David. Then it's 14 generations from David to Babylon, and it's 14 generations from Babylon to Christ. That's 2 sevens, y'all. So when we turn to Exodus 7, it say, "So the Lord said to Moses, See, I have made you as God to Pharaoh, and Aaron your brother shall be your prophet." Now let's stop right there. If we don't know which land we in Egypt, y'all. This is where the Lord was crucified. And that's why when we read to y'all Matthew, y'all, it's a lot of stuff, man, that we don't. And I just sit here and meditate on ways how can you show this to people. I just said that so all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations. From David until the captivity in Babylon are 14 generations. And from the captive of Babylon until the rising of Christ or the rising of the Son of Man is 14 generations. So right now, y'all, we're in 7 where the Lord is making Moses, aka a man, He is making him a God. But why is Moses becoming a God? Because he has the spirit of God. That's why Moses is becoming God of Pharaoh. And Aaron, which are simply his brothers, which are simply the other Levites, as the messenger of the new covenant, because Moses is a messenger of the covenant. Now, I don't want us to get caught up in the story, y'all. Moses is a messenger of God's covenant. That's what Moses came to do. So when we turn to Malachi chapter 3, the messenger of the new covenant is going to purify the Levites. Now, Aaron represents the Levites. Moses represents the begotten son. As I told y'all, all prophets are Levites. So I say, "You shall speak all that I command you, and Aaron your brother shall tell Pharaoh to send the children of Israel out of his land." Now, we all know the children of Israel held in this land, y'all, and there ain't no coincidence. I don't care what nobody told you. We done had many videos on that. We was brought here to Babylon. And I'm finna read you that when I go into these other books. But they just call this land spiritual Egypt, spiritual Solomon. I know y'all see the eagle wings, y'all. Egypt, eagle wings, but those are the... And it's saying, I will harden Pharaoh's heart and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. Now, the only way that God can show his wonders if America harden their hearts and don't let us go. Like I tell y'all, back in the 90s, we was working 40 hours a week. And back in the early 2000s, we were working 40 hours a week. Now we work 60, 50 hours a week. That's heavy bondage that has been placed on us right under our nose, but we don't see it. So the average person no longer works 40 hours a week to pay his bills or to pay her bills. She's working overtime to pay her bills. Heavy bondage. That's what it's called. Heavy bondage. So this was told to Moses. He said, and I will harden Pharaoh's heart and multiply my signs and wonders in the land of Egypt. But Pharaoh will not heed you, so that I may lay my hand on Egypt and bring my armies, my people, the children of Israel, out of the land by great judgments. Now, y'all all know, y'all, if we flee this land right now, God ain't real. Because his children is running. God ain't real. That's what most people going to say. That's why we didn't leave Egypt this way in this story. We left Egypt with gold, with silver, with great things to show Pharaoh God was real. It was wonder scene to show God was real. So how this world gonna see God if we all get up and just, half of us can't leave anyway, you ain't got passports. You know, you ain't all kind of credit issue with passports. So it say, and the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord. When I stretch out my hand on Egypt and bring out the children of Israel from among them. All right. Now I told y'all this 7 is very, this 7 is very significant in Exodus because it's 7 days for the fall of creation. So now we're going to go to 14. I really wanted to go to 13. But I'm not going to go there, y'all, because the 7 days of the eating of unleavened bread. And no leavened bread on the 7th day, y'all. That's the creation. That's not no 7 days like we think. So it's a then the children. Where I'm about to go, y'all. I'm in 14. The Lord saying 14 and 4. Then I will harden Pharaoh's heart, so that he will pursue them. And I again will honor over Pharaoh's and over all his army, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord. And they did so. So the only way these people gonna know is God in the midst if he do wonders to us. Now, what's gonna be the wonders, y'all? Like, we all read this book, but we jump over prophecy. We all read this book, but we jump over the fulfillment of these things. These things are going to happen just like this book says, y'all. That's the cold part about it. But we reading a story. So I think I wanted to read some more, y'all. Like, this stuff I was meditating on, I didn't write this down, but I'm going to go in Habakkuk. Because I think if I read that, that's going to throw what I'm really trying to say off. But yeah, I just want to show you how Pharaoh's heart was hardened. But it was hardened to show God works. That's why this was hardened. But let's go to Habakkuk, y'all. We're going to turn to Habakkuk. I just wanted to give y'all the Exodus thing of how Moses and Aaron really your two witnesses. But let me go to Habakkuk, y'all. I guess that's Habakkuk. I can't say the word. The H-A. Hold up. My Bible be messed up, y'all. So. Alright, bear with me. I don't think I might be missing a page in this Bible. But we in Habakkuk, y'all. The H-B-A-K-K-U-K. Habakkuk. If y'all in y'all Bibles, y'all turn there with me, man. It say, this is his complaint. It say, same thing Jeremiah had a complaint, y'all, but we ain't going to go there. We just going to read the story for now. I'm not going to talk over nobody's head. We're just going to read the story. It say, the oracle of Habakkuk, the prophet, received. How long, O Lord, must I call for help? But you do not listen. Or cry out to violence, but you do not save. Why do you make me look at injustice? Why do you tolerate wrong? Destruction and violence are before me. There is strife and conflict abounds. Therefore the law is paralyzed, and justice never prevails. The wicked hymn the righteous, so that justice is perverted. Now y'all know there's no justice in this land, y'all. So this talking about the captivity land that Abraham was told his seed was going to go in. This the captive in a foreign land that Moses said we was going to come on ships and be treated without justice. So this is the Lord's answer to his complaint. Because this is a vision now. It say, look at the nations and watch, and be utterly amazed. For I am going to do something in your days that you would not believe, even if you were told. I am raising up the Babylonians, that ruthless and impetuous people, who sweep across the whole earth to seize the dwelling places not their own. Now we all know what America has did, but there was a servant in the Father's hand. And if you don't believe me, let's go to Jeremiah, and we'll see how King Nebuchadnezzar became a servant in the Father's hand. Because we talking about this 70 years, which is simply the 7-day creation, y'all. We never leaving this 7-day creation. But if we go to Jeremiah 25:8, it say, therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts, because you have not heard my words. Behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, says the Lord, and Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, my servant. So the king of Babylon became the father's servant to destroy and conquer the whole world, so the kingdom of heaven could come down on earth. But I know we don't catch that, but it just let you know. But it let you know also, if you was told these things, you wouldn't even believe them. So it say, they are feared and dreadful people. They are a law to themselves and promote their own honor. Their horses are swifter than leopards, fierce than wolves at dusk. Their cavalry gallops headlong. Their horsemen come from afar. They fly like vultures, swooping down to devour. Or probably say eagles in the King James version. But it say vultures. That's why we don't eat vultures. We don't eat people who are like vultures, y'all. They all come bent on violence. There are, I don't know, their hordes advance like a desert wind and gather prisoners like sand. They dread kings and scoff at rulers. They laugh at all forfeited cities. They build earthen ramps and capture them. Then they sweep past like the wind and go on. Guilty men whose strength is their God. So y'all, that's simply talking about the king of Babylon who the Father set up. I told y'all the Father set up our enemies. It's tell you our enemies will be over us. So now the Babylonians rose over the whole world to begin the 7-day creation. But we don't catch this. So when we read Jeremiah 20:25, Jeremiah is talking about the 70 years that the whole world will be in captivity to create the new heaven and new earth. But I'm just going to keep going down in our Habakkuk, y'all, and I'm going to go to 2. I'm just going to read this and show y'all, this is the beginning of Exodus, man, and, you know, we should be worried about keeping the law of God and coming together as one more than we should worry about fleeing. Because you can easily flee to another country and enter captivity. Because you are going to be freed in your captive land. By God, by the power of God. Not just, it's going to be the power of God that's going to free you. Just like the power of God put you in this position, the power of God is going to free us, y'all. The power of God made our enemies hide in us. But we got to be able to see God's counsel. We got to be able to hear God's counsel. So when we turn to Habakkuk 2, it say, I will stand at my watch and station myself on ramparts. I will look to see what he will say to me and what answer I am to give to his complaint. So the Lord said he was going to set up watchmen. He said, Isaiah told us that the Father was going to set up signs and wonders. That's why in the 7-day creation, it's not the creation of earth. It's the creation of heaven. So his Father creating his heavenly bodies that he putting his spirit in to show you signs and wonders to bring you out of the land of Egypt. That's what Genesis and what the 7-day creation is about. This is what I'm about to show you because the Father say he set up watchmen. So he said in 2 and 2, then the Lord replied, write down the revelation, make it plain on tablets so that a herald may run and read it. So he said, write it down where anyone can read it. For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. So this waits an appointed time, which are your appointed feast days that the Father has created for us for the Sabbath days. Not the feast days that we're supposed to be worshiping with these counts. These are appointed days that's been appointed by God since the beginning of the creation of heaven. But it was a thought that God had in his mind since he established earth. But his law and his testimony was revealed to the prophets to bring forth his new creation of heaven. And so I'm going to read this again. Because Habakkuk was a watchman. So he say, then the Lord replied. Well, first of all, let me go back to the top because I know y'all didn't really catch that. Because a watchman, the Father said, I'm going to set up watchmen. Ezekiel was a watchman. They watch for the time and the day that the Father has made. Not the day that Satan has made, because these days we living in are created by Satan, the deception. So it's going to be a time where God is going to make a day. But the only people going to know are the watchmen that he have set up. So it say, I will stand at my watch and station myself on the ramparts. That's why the God say the person he sent going to be a for sure nail. He going to be in a for sure place. I will look to see what he will say to me and what answer I am to give to his complaint. Then the Lord replied, write down the revelation and make it plain on tablets, so that a hurler may run and read it. A hurler, y'all, mean whoever want to read it can understand this revelation. In these last days, whoever want to eat this Last Supper can eat it. For the revelation awaits a appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. But this is an appointed time by God. It say, see, he is puffed up. His desires are not upright, but righteousness will live by faith. It say, indeed, wine betrays him. He is arrogant and never at rest, because he is as greedy as grave. Like death is never satisfied. He gathers to himself all the nations and takes captive all the people. All these other nations that run over here and try to live America dream is simply being caught up in America net. Or they simply are drinking America wine. Or they simply drinking the cup of Babylon wine. But all these people come over here to get rich. They are evil. Because all those who drink the cup of Babylon is going to receive the fathers in the nation. Because y'all, this is the same thing that Jeremiah prophesied of in 25. You know, this is nothing different. It say 25 and 9, it say, behold, I send, take all the families of the north, says the Lord, and Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, my servant, will bring them against this land, against the inhabitants, and against these nations all around, and will utterly destroy them, and make them astonishment, a hissing, and a perpetual desolation. But I want to go down where it say it was a cup. Well, this is what he told Jeremiah, because he say, then they will, I'm in 25 and 6 in Jeremiah. Then they will drink and stagger and go mad because of the sword that I will send among them. Then I took the cup of the Lord's hand and made all nations drink to whom the Lord has sent me. So all these nations is drinking Babylon cup. It was God's doing. So let me keep going down. Do I want to, y'all, if I'm losing anybody, if I'm talking over anybody here, please let me know. It could be broken down. The bread got to be broken down in pieces and fed to the multitude. This is breaking the bread, y'all. This is simply what I'm doing on this Last Supper. You know, so, and like Habakkuk say, y'all, half of the stuff that the Father finna do, if you was told, you wouldn't believe it. So some people, it's just not for you to tell, it's just for you to see and recognize and know. Those who prepare the wedding are going to enter the wedding. But those who are going to enter the wedding, those who do not come to the wedding, make sure you don't miss the reception. The reception. And the reception is when the glory is here. So you still have a chance to enter heaven, even though you didn't enter the wedding. Because of the wedding are those who put on all white, those who become pure, those who become like gods, those who become like angels. The wedding is for you. The other people, you probably have to be cast out and worked on a little more. Then you'll come to the reception. That's just how it's going to be, y'all. Let's say, you have, I'm in Habakkuk 2 and 10. It say, you have plotted the ruin of many peoples, shaming your own house and forfeiting your life. Now, as we talking about, the father blues his son, but it was right in his eyes. But it seemed right in his eyes to put us in ghettos. So he just let us know, you have plotted the ruin of many peoples. Also, many nations have been destroyed by the same people that destroyed God's sons and God's daughters, God's kids. But these same people had also destroyed other nations, because as God's sons and daughters sinned, so did other nations sin against God. So he said, you have plotted the ruin of many peoples, shaming your own house and forfeiting your life. The stones of the wall will cry out, and the beams of the woodwork will echo it. Woe to him who builds a city with bloodshed and establishes a town by crime. Now, y'all all know the place we living in, aka Babylon, has been established with bloodshed. The Father just told you he created them to do bloodshed. They was meant to kill other people and destroy nations and take over people who really wasn't worshiping God. This is what these people created for. They created for to get rid of the trash. Babylonians is like your catfish of the water. Or Babylonians is like your pig of the earth. They was put here to eat up the slop. But now you can't eat up the slop no more, because we are slop. We are the manual of we are the generation of Emmanuel, y'all. We are the golden people. So you just can't do us any kind of way. So that's why the Father finna bring judgment on the Babylonians. Your time is up. This is the new heaven. This is the rest. This is the Sabbath day. So I say, woe to him who builds a city with bloodshed and establish a town by crime. Has not the Lord Almighty determined that the people's labor is only fuel for fire, and the nations exhaust themselves for nothing? For the earth will be filled with knowledge of the glory of the Lord as the waters covers the sea. Woe to him who drinks to his neighbors, pouring it from the wineskins till they are drunk, so that he can gaze on their naked bodies. You will be filled with shame instead of glory. How is it your turn? Drink and be exposed. The cup from the Lord's right hand is coming around to you, and disgrace will cover your glory. And I could keep reading, but that's really it, y'all. Say he took a shook at the nation. But y'all really want y'all to come on here and ask questions if you had some, or if you didn't. You know, be my guest. If you don't, be my guest too. Just hear the message though. Just hear the message. But let's go in Isaiah, y'all. Y'all know I love my book Isaiah. I love my book Isaiah. Let's go in 64, y'all. We're gonna go in 64. Let's go in Isaiah 64. It say, let me see if I'm reading 64 or 62. I'm sorry, y'all. We're in 62. 62. Isaiah 62, it say, for Zion's sake, I will not keep silent. For Jerusalem's sake, I will not remain quiet, till her righteousness shines out like the dawn, her salvation like a blazing torch. The burning bush, y'all. The one that Moses seen, because Moses foreseen the Masonic vision. Moses foreseen the day that we are living in. We are the burning bush. The nations will see your righteousness, and all the kings your glory. You will be called by a new name that the mouth of the Lord will bestow. Now, I should have read y'all that in Habakkuk, y'all, because a lot of us got an image, y'all. Like, a lot of us got an image, man. We got an image. It say, Was that in 2? It say, I'm in Habakkuk 2:18. I should have read this. It say, of what value is an idol, since a man has carved it, or a image that teaches lies? For he who makes it trusts in his own creation. He make idols that cannot speak. Now let me go back to what he just said in 62, y'all. He said, the nations will see your righteousness, and all the kings your glory. You will be called by a new name that the mouth of the Lord will bestow. Now, what is the mouth of the Lord, y'all? Moses was the mouth of the Lord. Jeremiah was the mouth of the Lord. So when I tell you Moses is a dead man, Moses can no longer speak to you in the Lord's name. Only a living being who the Father has raised up, or anointed man, a Christ, a Levite, a begotten son, can speak to you and give you this new name in these last days. And that's why, y'all, it's many false Christs walking the earth. Because if you're a teacher, you're supposed to have the power to do this. You're supposed to have the power to transform a person and get them a new name. That's like if you big right now and you turn slim. People gonna start calling you slim. They ain't gonna call you, man, what up, Big Rob? You slim down, man, what's up, Slim Rob? You know, what's up, Slim? So the new name is the transformation. But I just want y'all to catch that, y'all. So a lot of people have a false image of Christ up that does not speak. Just want y'all to catch that. It say, you will be crowned of splendor in the Lord's hand, a royal demon in the land of your God. No longer will they call you deserted or your land de-isolated, but you will be called, I can't say it, Habasana. It means my delight. And your land be Bilala. And then say right here, say, for the Lord will delight in you, and your land will be married. So y'all, I just wanted the mouth of the Lord is speaking, man. That's all I'm trying to get y'all to see, y'all. The mouth of the Lord is speaking and giving people a new name through his last supper that you eat. The last supper that you eat is what's going to nourish you. That's going to be your nourishment to transform you, to give you a new name. That's going to be your new name, y'all, your way of life. You're going to be doing things a new way. So when everybody talking about fleeing, y'all, man, we going to be redeemed, y'all, in this land. It's but those who put on the real majesty of God. It tell you, you know, if I would have told you, and I got many scriptures, y'all. If y'all got any questions, man, shoot them forth. If I ain't got no questions, y'all, I'm not gonna really stay on here. I just wanted to bring that forth because, you know, it's a lot of people. There's a lot of information out, y'all. A lot of false information. A lot of people talking, but a lot of people don't have the authority to speak. And those are your false Christs that's walking the earth. Because Christ simply means a anointed man. So if the Father anointed you, he anointed you to bring his message to save people. The Father ain't anointed no man to say, my son coming. But these prophets prophesied of a certain day and a fulfillment. But these people they are not prophesizing the way prophets did, y'all. They are simply giving you a false message. That's keeping us trapped, man. And I say us because it always lets you know who's ever great amongst you gonna be your servant. So when I'm sitting there meditating, looking up all this information, y'all, I'm doing this for y'all. So I'm being a slave for y'all. I'm working for y'all. And I'm gonna have to keep doing this until all these lies are destroyed. I told y'all in Exodus 7. It's the beginning of Moses and Aaron and Pharaoh and his musicians. It's the beginning of it. But of course, our stuff gonna swallow it up. Of course. Of course, y'all. So but any questions, y'all? Any questions? If I don't have no questions, y'all just gonna give us a couple scriptures that we could. Y'all can read over. I don't really like to do scriptures, y'all, but the scriptures that I give gonna also go with the chapter, y'all. So you're not just gonna, you're not just gonna be reading scriptures. If I can find the notes. Let's go to Micah. Let's go to Micah. Because a lot of people mocking God right now, y'all. It's a lot of people mocking God. And that's why we say, fear no man but God, though. So fear no man but the one that's carrying God's spirit. That's what we should say. We just say, fear no man but God. So, but God is just being mocked right now, but God being mocked for a reason. He's being mocked for a reason, y'all. So let's go to Micah. Let's see what's going to happen to them people who mock God. A lot of people mocking them, y'all. As they did the prophets, it's, it's that Micah 4:1-3. We in Micah 4, y'all. It say, now it shall come to pass in the latter days that the mount of the Lord's house shall be established on top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills. Many peoples shall flow to it. This is a Joseph story, y'all. They had a famine in the land. Everybody had to come to Joseph. We live in the same thing today. Many nations shall come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, the house of God of Jacob. He will teach us his ways, and we shall walk in his paths. For out of Zion the law shall go forth, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. So let me stop right there. I gotta stop right there, y'all. I gotta stop right there. Now that's the reason why we say the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now we all know when we read Genesis, y'all, many of us have been deceived to believe Genesis is the creation of the beginning of the world. And not understanding Genesis is the creation of heaven that's coming down on earth, and not the beginning of the world. That's why many people argue about it was people here in Genesis. Yeah, it was people here when Moses got here. Moses was just a man that God raised up and showed him his works. See, God's works begin on a certain day. But we can't understand that because of the crafty counsel that's been placed on our chosen one. So when we pick up the book that we really know nothing about, that's in a sorcery language, a spell is put on our brains right then and there, because we read in the beginning. But in the beginning of who? Because we talking about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So the beginning is Abraham. The sacrifice is Isaac. The resurrection is Jacob. So when we read right here in Micah 4, it say, to the house of the God of Jacob. Because Jacob is the one that's going to build the house. I'm trying to help us see. So it say, he shall judge between many people, and rebuke strong nations afar off. Now I want to tell y'all something, y'all. Louisiana Purchase. I tell y'all this probably every night. I know I always say it just to, if you hear it or not. The Louisiana Purchase is just not Louisiana, y'all. Louisiana Purchase went all the way up to Canada. So a lot of stuff that's going on in Louisiana and the stuff that we say and how we coming, y'all, and the stuff that we say is no joke. The words that we speak, y'all, is not, don't get us mistaken with our twin brother Esau. No, we not all twin brother Esau, y'all. The words we speak is real. And the words we speak bring life. I'm gonna read this again. He shall judge between many peoples and rebuke strong nations afar off. This the valley of decision. All decisions, all glory, everything gonna happen in this land be raised up to reveal God's glory. I told y'all, real soldiers don't run the battlefield. We stand up and fight because we know it's necessary, but we also know we gonna win because we fighting with the power of God. You ain't gonna see no weapon with me. You ain't gonna see no gun on my hip, but you will see me talking. That's this prophecy. That's Baal the dragon. Daniel defeated the dragon with no weapon. The power of God, the word of God is sharper than any double-edged sword, y'all. I know y'all don't believe it, but hey, proof is in the pudding, y'all. It say they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up a sword against a nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Now, if y'all ever read The Art of War, to conquer someone is right here in their mind, y'all. Once a lot of people understand that the house of David is walking the earth. See, many people talk this Jesus talk, this Yahshua talk, but once the world realizes that Yahshua is walking the earth, what's going to happen? Famous man ever, y'all. Yahshua is the famous man ever. Ever. Ain't nobody more famous. So what's going to happen to the world when they find out he walking the earth? It say, but everyone shall sit under his vine and under his fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. For the mouth of the Lord of hosts has spoken. Now I just told y'all how we're going to get this new name, because the Lord speaks. It say, for all the people walk each in the name of his God, but we will walk in the name of the Lord our God forever and ever. In that day, says the Lord, I will assemble the lame, and I will gather the outcasts, and those whom I have afflicted. I will make the lame a remnant, and the outcast a strong nation. So the Lord will regain over in Mount Zion from now on, even forever. And you, O tower of the flock, O stronghold of daughter of Zion, to you shall it come, even the former domain shall come, the kingdom of the daughter of Jerusalem. And yeah, I could keep reading or I could stop. I really wanted to show us the beginning, really 1 through 3. That's what I just kept going to keep going, but 1 through 3 is what I really wanted to show us, y'all. Now, y'all can read the best. The next one is, and that's another thing, y'all. Y'all don't understand. And let's talk. Well, I ain't gonna. The next chapter is the Messiah being born in Babylon. But y'all, I'm just doing this if I don't have no questions, y'all, man. I don't really. Like I said, I was gonna go over a couple of scriptures, y'all, just to. We leaving now. We don't get me wrong, y'all. We leaving this place, but we not fleeing. No, we walking out like kings. Because that's how God gonna reveal his glory. We're gonna walk out like kings, y'all. So if we run, y'all, then God won't be revealing his power. But that might be it, y'all, that I might have for y'all. But I ain't got no questions, y'all. I was gonna go over a couple scriptures, but y'all know we done did so much, man. I know I done wrote so much down, y'all, so it'll be too much to fathom. I'm gonna give y'all a good hour, then I'm out. But no questions, y'all. No questions, man. All this we talking about, we should flee and all these things, and we don't have no questions, huh? Yep. If there's no questions, y'all, then I have no answers. Cause I think I done gave them all. At least I thought I did. Made it clear as I can, without no questions. But I was looking for some little scriptures I could have went over, but I can't really find none, y'all, that really gonna go with what we talking about. So, with that being said, y'all, that's it for me, man. No questions, y'all. That's it. I just wanted to bring that, man, clear that up a little bit, y'all, and bring some clarity if I did. If I didn't, oh well. For those who got the ears to hear, y'all will hear. So as always, man, I hope the Father has circumcised y'all heart and ears for the message, man. As always, one love and peace and love for those who gonna follow this one truth. Worship this one God, y'all, and get on this one ship that's gonna lead us back to Mount Zion. Peace, y'all. I'm out.